All right. Good evening. You're all welcome to today class. This is Charity International University College Liberia. And we have been discussing on the course which is Edu 201 Philosophy in Education. We have looked at the learning objective, understand the various school of philosophical thought relevant to education. So this thought we mentioned, then we say number one, we have the realisms, which we say they emphasize the importance on the observable world and fact-based knowledge. These guys actually promote a curriculum focused on scientific inquiry and empirical evidence. Example, we say school adopting a realist philosophy may prioritize STEM education. That is STEM, STEM. That means S stand for science, T, technology, E, engineering, and M, mathematics. Ensuring students develop critical analytical skills. So the realism theory, yes, so philosophical truth is that students should focus on fact-based knowledge. We look at the idealism, which we say they are rooted in the belief that reality is shaped by ideas and consciousness. These idealisms they focus on what moral and intellectual development. That is the key area of focus in what moral and intellectual development. Example, we say institution espousing idealism may focus on may prioritize literature and ethical discussion, cultivating students' character and critical thinking. Another school of thought, which we call them pragmatism, which we say this philosophy seek knowledge as a tool for problem solving and advocate for experiential learning. So these guys they does that by pragmatic approach, which involved project-based learning that connects students with what real-world community issues. Another school of thought we have existentialisms. These guys actually focus on individual freedom and choice. Essentialisms highlight the importance of what personal meaning in education. Example, school grounded in essentialist thought may encourage independent study project, allowing students to explore their interests freely. Can you see it? We have the constructivisms, which we say they posit that learners actively construct knowledge through their what experiences, emphasizing collaboration and what engagement. All right, so for today class, we are going to talk about some of these. We're going to talk about effective communication. Effective communication. Through this, you are going to learn how to articulate philosophical ideas, helps in discussion with faculty, parents, and community stakeholders. Practical application. Let's say students will develop the skills to apply philosophical concept in real world educational scenario. Now, our learning objective too is to articulate the significance of philosophy in shaping educational administration. Now, to articulate the significance of philosophy shaping educational practices and kind of policies, which has brought exploration. Philosophy serves as a blueprint. I'm talking about articulation of the significance of philosophy shaping educational practices and policies. And we say philosophy serve as a what blueprint for educational practice and policy at, for example, Charity International University College. So we are shaped by what philosophical thoughts in learning, thereby influencing classroom dynamics, governance, and community relation. Are you getting it now? So that is the significance of philosophy in shaping educational practices. Um, Actually, philosophy serve as a blueprint for educational practices and policy in different universities across the world, and even our own Charity International University College, Liberia. All right. So for that, I'm going to talk on some of these policy, for example, guidance for policy development. Each philosophical approach provides a framework for evaluating educational policies. I repeat myself, each guidance for policy development. Each philosophical approach provides a framework for evaluating educational policies. So those policies that are formulated up, which you have the constructivisms, the pragmatisms, the realism, the idealisms, they actually constitute to evaluate educational policy. Example, a commitment to social justice from a constructivism perspective could guide the creation of inclusive policy. Like, for example, constructivism, someone who study the behaviors of students, who group students in peers, and then pair weak learner with strong learner, can what actually could guide the creation of inclusive policy. Now, the next we are going to talk about curriculum framework, how philosophy actually help in shaping curriculum framework. Philosophy shape what is taught and how learning occur, guiding curriculum development. Example, let's say a school grounded in pragmatism may integrate community project into its curriculum that are directly relevant to students' life. Can you see it? Pragmatism, we say they deal with what? World problems. They solve world problems, right? They solve world problems. So in the problems in your society, pragmatisms, the school of thought now, they might what? Incorporate it in the curriculum of study there. So we are going to talk about ethical dimension of education. So in the ethical dimensions of education, educational leader must consider the ethical implication of their what? Decision. Ethics from the word ethics. How a professional should behave, the codes and conduct of how an educational person should behave. So philosophy actually helps educational leader to consider the ethical implications of their decision, which are informed by philosophical inquiry, as I said earlier. Example, an idealistic perspective may guide administrators in maintaining programs that focus not just on academic success but also on what? Student moral growth. Remember, we say idealism, they focus on what? On the moral character of the student, moral behavior of the student. So an administrator, an idealistic perspective about what? Give an administrator a program or may guide an administrator in maintaining programs that focus not just on academic success but also on student moral growth. Now, significance for educational administration, understanding of philosophy equip educational leaders to implement policies that reflect their what? Values. and respond to their community need effectively. So we are going to stop here for today, and then tomorrow we'll continue. So I will summarize the lecture briefly. Today we talk about the articulate significance of philosophy in shaping educational policy. We say these philosophic policies, they are what? They serve as a blueprint for educational practices and policies at higher institutions and even in secondary school education level, primary level, grade classes level. Thereby the influence of classroom dynamics, how a classroom behaves, governance, and community relation. So we'll talk about guidance for policy development, that each of these philosophical approach of policies, they provide a what framework for evaluating educational policy. So this policy, they grant a framework for you to evaluate these policies, educational policy. Example, we say a commitment to social justice from a what constructivism perspective could judge the creation of what inclusive policies. We talk about curriculum framework, that each of these philosophy thoughts shapes what is taught and how learning is ought to occur, guiding curriculum development. Then we talk about the ethical dimension, which we say each educational leader must consider ethical implication of their decision. And how can they consider the ethical implication of decision? Through the what? Through the philosophical what? Thought, school of thought, inquiry. Right? So we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll take on the analytical skills. We'll talk about analyze the implication of different philosophies on educational administration, leadership style, impact on school culture, teachers development and support, community engagement, strategic decision making, visionary conflict management, visionary leadership, and then we'll conclude the course for Edu 201, that is philosophy in education. Have a nice day. Thank you for being part of today's class.